My name is Dr. Jill Jennings, and I am the founder of Crossroads Natural Healthcare. I'm glad you found us. If you're like a lot of our patients, you found us because you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. You've seen countless doctors, had multiple tests, tried dozens of medications to no avail. The bad news is you're sick. Some of you really sick. Your illness has stolen your joy, affected your ability to work and enjoy the things that you love to do. It's affected your family life and even your social life. But the good news is there is hope. It's time to take back your life and regain your health. How do I know? Because I've been in your shoes. And I always like to start off by telling my patients a little bit about me, who I am, about my story, and how I got to be where I am today. I've worked in the hospitals for over 20 years, 15 of those as an ER nurse before I became a doctor. During my early years in medicine, I became very sick. My illness progressed over a long period of time, about 10 years, until it got so bad that I could barely function and was preparing to file for disability. I suffered from chronic widespread pain, migraines, a lot of GI issues, sleep problems, major depression, debilitating fatigue, brain fog, just to name a few. And it was at that point that a couple of my friends said, "You need to go see our naturopathic doctor." Now, at the time, I was like, what do they know? I've already done and seen everything. But I found myself at a crossroads, hence the name of our practice. But I could either continue on the road that I was on and continue to get sicker, or I could find another way. And that's what I did. So I took his name and number, and we drove 10 hours to go see this doctor. And to make a long story short, he got me well. I was trying to figure out what was the difference between what these doctors were doing and what I had done in the hospital for so many years. So I started to do a lot of research on what really was the difference. And what I found was so elementary, yet so very profound. What I did in the hospital was treat symptoms with drugs and then treat side effects with more drugs. And what the naturopathic doctors were doing is say, okay, well, what are the symptoms? Let's see what's causing them, even down on the cellular level. Let's fix that. And then a lot of the times the body can heal itself. What I realize is by treating symptoms with medications, what we do is we suppress the underlying cause of the illness and a lot of times turn it into a chronic disease, which is one of the reasons we have so many chronic diseases in this country. I once heard a doctor say, if you're going to have a heart attack, a stroke, or a trauma, do it in the United States because we're great at that. But if you're going to have a chronic disease, don't do it in the United States because we're horrible at that. And unfortunately, I've seen that to be true over the years. The United States represents only 4% of the entire world's population. We are the most scientifically advanced country in the world, a world leader in research, and the most vaccinated country in the world. So shouldn't that make us the healthiest country in the world? Sadly, it's the opposite. We are the sickest country in the world. The U.S. represents, like I said, only 4% of the world's population, yet we consume 75% of the entire world's manufactured drugs and 80% of the world's pain meds. It clearly doesn't work, people. So let's start by asking a question. What is one thing you could start doing right now to make yourself healthier? Did you say take more prescription drugs? Of course not. That's ridiculous. Unfortunately, we have a medical model of sick care in this country, not health care. You don't have high blood pressure because your body is deficient in lisinopril. You don't have diabetes because your body is short on metformin. Do you get it? You cannot medicate yourself out of a chronic disease. It's like this. If you had a plant and it was brown and wilting and dying, I could spray paint it green and make it look pretty for a while, but I haven't fixed anything. It's the same thing with our bodies. So the biggest difference between what I used to do in the hospitals and what I do now as a naturopathic doctor is we discover and resolve the underlying cause of your symptoms, not treat the symptoms themselves. Unfortunately, a lot of our conventional doctors weren't taught these basic principles. I certainly wasn't taught as a nurse. Our American medical schools are funded by the drug companies. So what do you think they're taught? They're taught how to treat symptoms with drugs and side effects with more drugs. And I tell my patients it's not necessarily their fault. They just don't know what they don't know. Our doctors say eat right and exercise, but nobody really knows what that means. Diet alone can be so overwhelming. That's where naturopathic medicine comes in. I like to explain it like this to my patients. If we were going to build your health like we build a house, we wouldn't start with the roof. That's crazy. But that's what a lot of our conventional doctors do. They start with drugs and surgeries. Now, don't misunderstand me. There is absolutely a time and place for drugs and surgeries, and I'm so thankful for the advances in modern medicine for the times when we need those interventions. But if we are going to build anything, including your health, we have to start with the foundation here at the bottom. These things are what we call the determinants of health. These are the things that determine your health. Things like diet, exercise, hydration, sleep, stress management. Then, after we get the determinants of health in order, we can move up to some of the higher level interventions if we need to. But if the foundational things are not in order, nothing else will work well. You are only as strong as your foundation. Diet is always a really big one for people, and we go into great detail about diet in our programs. But a lot of times patients will say to us, "But I've been eating this way my whole life." At which point we say, exactly. When your dog gets sick, what's the first thing that you say? "I wonder what he ate." Think about that. Do we ever say that when we get sick? "I wonder what he ate"? No, but we should. What our grandmother said was true. You are what you eat. There is not a single cell in your body that is not a direct result of what you put in your mouth. That's pretty profound if you think about it. There's not a single cell in your body that's not a direct result of what you put in your mouth. Your food is the building blocks for every cell and system in your body. It's like this. If I bought a $250,000 Lamborghini, would I put Kool-Aid in the gas tank? Of course not. That's ridiculous. You would put the most premium gasoline in so that it would run the best. It's the same with our bodies. We live in the most incredible machine on the face of the planet. So what are you putting in yours, and how's it running? We will teach you how to let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Another unique aspect to naturopathic medicine is we treat the whole person. The human body is amazing, but nothing stands alone. Everything works together in beautiful harmony. In the hospital, we treat isolated body systems. If somebody comes in with chest pain, the first thing we do is think of heart and heart attack. Now, of course, we have to rule out those big bad things, and we should. But what if the person is having chest pain because they got incredible stressors in their lives? If I don't treat the whole person, I could be missing a huge piece to that person's puzzle. So we address every aspect of the patient's life, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, because they all interconnect and cannot be separated. My own health journey was so profound and life-changing that I went back to school to become a naturopathic doctor. It was a long, hard journey, but one that I know was God-led. You see, I wanted to be a doctor my whole life. And when I was in my bachelor's degree, started working in the hospitals and watching these doctors and realizing, I don't want to do this. These doctors are miserable, and it's the nurses who are doing everything anyway. So I walked away from my dream, switched gears, and went back to school to be a nurse. Now, it was during that time that I had become sick, and it progressed over the years. But looking back at my illness and how horrible it was and how sick I was, I wouldn't change it for anything, because I know that God had to put me through what I went through to get me where He needed me to be. Yes, I was supposed to be a doctor, but not where I thought. I was supposed to be a naturopathic doctor right here, talking to you, sharing hope and sharing my story, because I've been in your shoes and I know what it's like to suffer, but I also know what it's like to find healing and true health. Doctor comes from the Latin word docere, which means to teach. Teaching is the most important part of my job, educating people about health and what it's really going to take to get and keep it. To take that a step further, knowledge itself is not power. Knowledge that you use is power. My biggest job is to teach people how to use the knowledge that I give them in a successful way. So I could educate you and give you a big list of do's and don'ts, send you on your way and tell you good luck. But I can pretty much guarantee that really quickly you'd become really overwhelmed and end up not doing anything at all. I vividly remember coming back from my first naturopathic office visit, and I had my big list of do's and don'ts, and I remember holding my list, standing in the grocery store, looking at labels, trying to figure out what I was supposed to do, not do, eat, not eat, and tears just running down my face. I so desperately wanted to get it right. I wanted to get well, but I was so overwhelmed, it just paralyzed me. I don't ever want my patients to feel like that, which is why it is my goal and my honor to walk with you hand in hand from start to finish so that you become healthy and find true health to the point where you don't need me anymore. Now that's true success in my book, and that's where our programs come in. The first question everyone always asks is, does insurance cover it? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Now don't kill the messenger. I don't make the insurance rules. But remember what I said, we unfortunately live in a country where the medical model is of sick care, not health care. And unfortunately, if you want good quality health care, you're going to have to pay for it out of pocket. Now, I remember one time a doctor telling me, look, you either pay for it now in good quality health care and self-care, or you pay for it later in medical bills, doctor visits, hospital bills, and prescription drugs. And they were right. Listen, I get it. Like I said, I've been in your shoes, and I remember being hacked that I spend all this money out of pocket to change my diet and lifestyle, and I was already paying for it as well with prescription medications and hospital bills and doctor's office visits. And I remember looking back, it cost me, I added it up, it was about $10,000 out of pocket to get myself well in my naturopathic program. But you know what? I would pay for it all over again, because I'm not facing disability anymore. I'm not on any prescription medications. I haven't seen a doctor in years, and I'm able to work and be successful and be here teaching you how to do the same thing as well. We need to start looking at our health as an investment, not an expense. We spend our money on things that we value. We find money for our cell phones, our cars, vacations, and on and on. What is your health worth? There's absolutely nothing more valuable than your health, because without it, nothing else matters all that much, because you can't enjoy it lying in a hospital bed. Our programs are designed so that we can walk with you step by step to guide you through your healing journey to minimize and hopefully eliminate that overwhelming feeling. The first visit is usually around 3 to 4 hours. This includes a very comprehensive history and physical exam. The more information I can get about you, mind, body, and spirit, from birth till now, the better able I am to tailor my recommendations specifically to your needs. The second appointment is when I deliver your wellness plan specifically designed for you and your specific health needs. Again, our programs are designed to educate and guide you step by step to help you heal. The average program is 4 to 6 months in length, and it depends on the complexity of your case. This includes weekly meetings, either in person or via video chat, at least 1 month in-person follow-up, education including label reading, meal planning, cooking, recipes, and lessons on various nutritional and health topics. If all of this makes sense to you and you value your health, you can expect to pay anywhere from $150 to $350 for the first visit, which again depends on age and complexity of the case, and then $200 to $400 a month for 12 to 18 months for the complete program. For those of you that are on board and all of this makes very much sense to you, we look forward to hearing from you soon, and it will be our honor and privilege to help you find true health.